And we're live.
We are live. Welcome to the Chris and Mike Show. I'm Chris. He's Mike. And we are here. Actually, recording might be higher in quality once we download it and save it to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other places.
It promised us right there. I saw it. Yeah.
So that's Freeman from the rock and roll band Nemesis.
You know, I don't know who told me to do the little chicka things.
Chicka chicka boom boom.
Or if I just made that up myself, but
Okay.
I'm glad they ended up in there because that's the thing that keeps me hooked every time. Like in
Which-
between where you're singing.
Yeah. Oh.
It just
okay.
flows. So it just leads right back into your next
Yeah.
line of every verse, you know?
I think that probably just organically came about when we were rocking and rolling, man. When we were rehearsing and shit and then talking before and after practices and talking before and after shows and, you know, because everything we did just kind of evolved, right? Because you had the music written.
Yeah, I think
You
it
had-
was one of those
yeah.
things where we all said, how are we going to fill that gap? You know, because all there was drums and bass there at that moment in time, which there's
Probably.
nothing wrong with that. But I think we
Probably.
said something needs to be there to keep people's interest into each line, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because interest is important. In case you're just joining us, this is the Chris and Mike Show. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Soon to come, we're building a website at chrisandmikeshow.com. And how cool was that actually was available?
It's awesome.
It
and
still blows my mind, man.
I just had a thought. That's where
Yeah.
we're going to be going live to twice a week, and we will post on that website when those times will occur. But that'll
Yeah.
be a perfect place to go live to every week.
That will be a perfect place to go live. Because there's a way to do it on YouTube, because I set up, Mike knows this, you all don't know this in the real world, but I set up on my YouTube page a podcast. So therefore, I have the real estate guy. It's called A Moment with the Real Estate Guy. I drop it every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. But there's little, minute and a half, 2-minute segments of just things you got to know about buying or selling a house. And I didn't realize it, but YouTube, you actually have a tab for podcasts. So have our YouTube channel itself is just all about us. So it doesn't really matter because we don't do organic videos and stuff. Although I guess we could start moving them to the podcast tab and see what that does. I don't know if it generates it, if it sends it out to, different places or whatnot. So that'll be interesting to find out. I'll watch mine and see how it evolves. Now, a fun thing when I was fucking around with our page, because I set up the shorts and stuff, for those of you who don't know, we have all the shorts and stuff set up to where they're dropping twice a day, morning and afternoon, and I have them scheduled out till, I don't know, like June, because we have so many shorts and stuff. And what that does is it helps you guys like see little, snips and pieces of us, and then, it prompts you to go to the big show, right?
The big show.
The big show, on the big show today. So I told him, I sent Mike, because I was looking at him as I'm scheduling, because they're all in drafts. We had a short. We have a short, because it's still there, that's 25 seconds long, that was around about the time Eli was on the ballot for the Hall of Fame, for the NFL Hall of Fame. And Bill Belichick had championed his reasoning why Eli should go to the Hall of Fame as a first ballot football player, which we debated that, and it's all debated in the sports world. That damn thing had almost 12,000 views when I looked at it.
Which
For
is
a
pretty-
short.
For a short of a podcast that nobody even knows who we are yet. That's the
Well, some people do. I mean, we made it to Australia, but that's because the guest that was supposed to be on here today is actually in Australia. So obviously
You know what I
he was-
mean. I mean,
Right,
we're not already famous people who can
Right.
drop a podcast and automatically you have 100,000 listeners or 1 million
True.
listeners. So when
True.
you say something like that, it blew my mind too, because I'm fascinated at the ones that shoot up to 800 or 1,000 real quick. It's like, wow, that's awesome. People are listening. They are watching.
Right.
I didn't mean
Yeah.
nobody like you people
Sure.
who are listening. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
We're thankful that the podcast is growing.
Yeah.
I just meant that, we're not Jennifer Aniston. We're not a household Johnny Depp. Or,
Right. I don't know why we're not Jennifer Aniston or Johnny Depp. I mean,
I'm
you
coming
had long
back
hair.
as Jennifer Aniston.
Really?
It's like ageless.
You want to jump all those dudes, huh?
Ooh, I just want all that
Well,
money.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a chick, it doesn't, whatever. Anyway, we're not going down that path. He, him,
seems
they,
to be having a good time.
I'm having a good time. So, hey, Australia, I mentioned that, and I would be remiss if I didn't do this, because when you schedule an appointment with somebody, whether it's a podcast or whether it's business, whether it's showing houses, whether it's you're going to a lunch meeting, whatever,
playing
right?
a gig.
When you schedule something with somebody well in advance, and we had this conversation around the time that Nikki had her birthday, because I scheduled that shit 6 months ahead of time. If you're gonna bail the night before, we're never going to reapproach you, and we're not going to come back to you and say, oh, please be on our show. So the guy that was supposed to be on today was a dude named Lawson from Australia Australia Mate. And as I sent him the link last night, he's like, oh, I got a bill. Fuck you, dude. That's all I got to say. You're going to schedule a time with us. Our time is valuable. We know what the hell we're doing. People that are on this show have had nothing but positive things to say. It's helped their business, their engagement, their social media platforms and stuff grow. Why? Because our conversations are centered around that person. Mike and I don't have an agenda.
No, we're not selling anything.
No, we are here to talk to you, to find out what it is you're looking to do in life, what it is you're champion, what it is you've come from or going to do, and stuff like that. We do not sell anything. Okay. This is HempWorks, okay? Feel free to reach out to me later, and I'll tell you how you can buy it. Bump.
You let me walk right into that one.
This is cleansing and vitality energy. It's pretty legit, man. It's pretty legit. I've tried it a couple of days, and I'm like, you get it. You feel it. You feel a little bit of energy. You feel a little woo. Like
I'm gonna reach out to you after the show.
Yeah. It was. What was it? Ric Flair. Woo!
The nature boy.
The nature boy with the HempWorks. Woo! So, I talked to Nate Palmer today. He's down on the 23rd. We're going to record the show again with Nate Palmer, the $1 Million Body. He's fucking legit. He's ripped. He's a super healthy lifestyle guy. Fitness trainer, all that kind of jazz. Been there, done that, failed many, many times, but in failing, he's learned how to grow his business, which is cool. So he was on our show the day that Mike couldn't be on the show because his internet was wacky. And for some reason, that got like the highest rated show we've ever had in the history of the Chris and Mike show. It's a joke, Mike.
But it was close, actually.
No, it wasn't. It was. You have to be here to help this thing.
No.
I was just fucking
I didn't
around,
realize
man.
you were making a joke until you
I
did.
was totally making a joke,
You
man.
got me on that one. I know.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay,
Keep talking.
So what I'm going to say, so Nate's coming on the 23rd.
Hold on and then keep talking. That was a dick move. Hey, hold on. No, keep talking.
Okay, so Nate's coming on the show again. Nate Palmer, $1 Million Body, and then we're having Peter Ho, who was just on. I don't know when his show airs, but it's coming quick.
Nate Palmer is in the top 12 most listened to shows
Holy
on
shit.
the Chris and Mike show out of almost 100 shows. So yeah, I would. That's why I get it now, but I was right there with you because it shot up the rankings quick. So
yeah,
because I told you guys, not like I would have distracted from your energy.
Right.
I'm just saying he really added something to the show, just like Mark did. I just got a compliment today on the Mark Jeffrey show. Why wouldn't you? The guy's been in radio for 40 years.
Yeah.
Pretty easy on the ears is what the person told me,
Yeah.
Just really enjoyed the stories. And I said, how can you go wrong having a veteran radio guy on your podcast? So thanks, Mark.
Well, right. And the really cool thing about Mark, and I think it translated very well with him being on the show. And I think you knew a little bit of his character and the type of human he is, but just interacting socially since.
Oh, I think I said it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like I always wondered if what came through that traffic report and the things that he did on television, and
right.
Are you the real deal or is it an
Right.
act? That guy's a genuine human being.
Yes,
he's
that's what
got a beautiful soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. He's genuine. He's not, and that was. If you haven't listened to the show, I'd say go back and listen to it because the cool thing about Mark, I met him when I was doing my radio show on iHeart. Real Talk USA with the real estate guy, and every time I'd have guests come into the studio, the first thing we would do is we would give them a tour behind the scenes of a radio studio because most people never get that opportunity to actually go beyond that door because you can go to the lobby, to pick up tickets, concert tickets and shit, whatever you may
Never
want.
get to see the control room and
right. exactly.
Yeah.
So you step off the elevator in iHeart, right? It's on the third floor, where all the shows and stuff are housed, and where all the DJs and personalities go. You step off the elevator. There's 4 sets of elevators, both sides. You get out, you're facing an elevator, right? So then you have 3 other ones on that little elevator lobby. Well, to your left is the fuck you're not getting in your door, like secured, locked down. To the right is the door to the lobby. Everybody goes to the lobby. Sure. Because that's where you're picking up your stuff. Right. So everything in Arizona, it's iHeart, is 95.5, 96.9, 98.7, 99.9, 102.5, and then you have the AM stuff, 620, 910, and the KFYI, KFYI2, right? So I was on the KFYI 1 and 2. But so everybody's on that floor. So I got to introduce Nikki to John Jay and Rich, because she loved listening to John Jay forever. So that was kind of a cool moment, because, Nikki's like 5'2", John Jay's like, 6'2". So, yeah. But that was really cool, because awesome. then I'm not friends with John Jay, but we know who each other are. So every now and then on Instagram, there'll be back tags and shit like that, because he's a genuine human, which is how Mark was, because when we would go and take people on the tour behind the scenes, they would see where the bands come to play, like Mark talked about. When if anybody comes through the valley doing a concert, typically the afternoon of that concert, they'll come in and do a free show, 2 or 3 songs, and sign autographs and shit. And then you would go through the 910 Fox Sports Studio, because who doesn't like sports? Then we would take them through the traffic hub, which was Mark's thing, and sure. The thing was huge, man. I mean, I'm going to say like 5,000 square feet of cubicles and screens, like everywhere. And then Mark had his own little office on the side, but this thing was mammoth, and he would just explain to people what he did and what all this was about. It was really cool. So during my time on the show, there was elections and shit, so we would see all that stuff going on. But that was the cool thing about Mark. Once I turned that corner, I was with Steve Giannini, the guy who was kind of behind my show, because I didn't have the keys to the kingdom. I was accessible with someone who did. But then Mark would take that tour over, and he was just genuine and fun and funny, and he was everything he was doing was kind of just enhancing their experience of being at a radio station that most people will never get to see, which I thought was really cool.
Awesome, man.
Right, and then we'd end up going back into my space where I recorded, and which was a legit recording studio, and just hang out, and Margie would be there, and Margie was my cohort on the show.
I'm going to steal your. I never know how to respond when someone says, "So you're friends with." I liked how you said, "Well, they know who I am."
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it. I'm going to start using that. It's like, no, we're not friends, but no. If you asked them, "Do you know who this is?" they would say, "Of course." Right.
So I mean, it's not like I'm going to call John Jay up and say, "Hey, dude, come over for dinner tomorrow night."
I just like the way you put that. Yeah. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, but it's. I think it's the easiest way to. Because you're not name dropping, right? You're not saying, "Oh, look at me, I'm so cool. I know Mark Jeffrey," but I know Mark Jeffrey. Like,
there's
I could call Mark Jeffrey right now.
I think there's a difference between name dropping and being a necessity for the story, right?
Yes, I agree with
Sometimes I'll say, I don't like doing this, but because they're part of the story, this person or that group or whatever's involved.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Because I do not like people who are like, "Hey, man, I was over at Brad Pitt's house the other night." And it's like, what, parking cars?
Right. If you just join us, this is the Chris and Mike Show. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Go ahead and drop us a review. Give us a follow on YouTube, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. Coming soon, chrisandmikeshow.com, which Mike alluded to earlier. We will figure out a way to make this stuff go live through the website. and
it'll be easy to do it to there.
We just got to start building it. I bought the domain name. We just now got to build it. Ooh, we should ask your brother, the tech guy, who's the best, easiest way to have a website? Because all the websites I've ever built are real estate related, and I don't want to build a real estate related website.
I can look into doing that for sure for you.
Michael.
I'm thinking Squarespace.
Squarespace. Square.
I go into the cave and do some research.
Go into the cave. So that's from Pulp Fiction. Don't be a square. Okay, yes. That's where I stole that from. That. Right on. So I had this thing today. I put Battle of Two Songs, right? And they're 2 iconic songs. Did you see that on my Facebook?
Did you not see my response?
I've been fucking around all day, man. But okay, good.
Like you have a job, you're out there working like a real person.
Not really. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to get people to get off the fence and buy some houses. Like, if you're listening, you want to buy a house, call me because I can
know
save
you're
you
out
up to
there working every day.
$22,000.
That's why I was being funny.
I know. You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy.
What I said was, ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But I think Jack and Diane edges out American Girl for me. And it pained me to do that because I fucking love Tom Petty like there's no tomorrow. That man was, I think he only ever knew a good time his entire life. And if anybody ever died happy, it was him.
Yeah. Well, maybe because he was in some pain and shit when he died. And a lot of people think that his overdose, I mean, obviously it was accidental. I don't think he intended to kill himself that night.
Right.
But the toxicology had different kinds of painkillers and shit in him. So I don't.
And if that was the end for him,
yeah,
then, if that was his choice, that was his choice. I mean, nobody wants to be in chronic pain, but I'm just saying, if you look at his career, who would not have wanted to have been Tom Petty?
Agreed.
Never hurt anybody, was never.
No.
He went through a rough period where his label tried to make him a parody of himself. And if you watch the documentary that his daughter authorized, they talk a lot about that, where he ended up doing that Wildflower album, and his record company kept telling him
Wallflowers.
Well, no, the album.
Oh, the Wildflower. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Wildflower.
Okay, I was thinking the Wallflowers because that was
he made that executive decision to make that album, and the record company was pissed. They were like, this is a career suicide. You're shooting yourself in the foot. Good luck. Nobody will ever care about Tom Petty again. It went on to be like the biggest album he ever recorded because it was honest, right? What do we keep saying? We try and be real, raw, and relevant, right?
Yeah.
Just honest, organic. That's what that album is. You Wrecked Me's on there. Mary Jane's Last Dance is on there.
On Wildflowers, because I'm looking at it. That's not. Oh, there it is. You Wreck Me. Yep. Only a Broken Heart. Don't Fade on Me. Cabin Down Below. A Higher Place. Crawling Back to You. You Don't Know How It Is, Wildflower, Time, Move On, Good to Be King, Honeybee, Hard to Me, Find a Friend, House in the Woods, and Wake Up Time. What's it called? It's not on there. Mary Jane?
That must have been the album before. I was thinking of You Wreck Me.
Yeah. No, You Wreck Me. Yeah, You Wreck Me song. That's a great song. And this was released in November 1st, 1994. It's 62 minutes, 48 seconds long. It was recorded in the sound studio in Van Nuys, Ocean Way, Hollywood.
Yeah, there's a lot of footage in that documentary from that Sound City.
Right on. Let's see how many things did Ringo. Ringo Starr played on drums on a couple of the songs.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They probably talk about that in there. I forgot about that.
Sales. Let's see how many albums he sold. You Wreck Me, Baby.
Damn, now I don't know. I'm singing American Girl in my head, and I think maybe I like that better.
3.4 million albums sold.
Of that one?
Tom Petty album sales, bestselling albums.org. So, greatest hits is 12 million, 12.9 million. Full Moon Fever, great fucking album. Sense. Just over 6 million. Wildflowers, 3.4 millions.
So it was the second best album.
Damn the Torpedoes,
3.2
million. Right. Into the Grave Wide Open, 2.6 million. Under the skies of blue.
That's what Mary Jane's Last Dance is on.
Into the grave wide open, a rebel without a clue.
And if I'm wrong on that one, I give up.
Hard Promises, 1.1 million. Now, Hard Promises was back in 81, so it was a feat to do 1 million sales.
I was just getting ready to ask you what year it was. A gold record was a platinum record now, back then.
Right, because
so
the gold record.
Correct.
Well, wasn't gold 500,000 and then platinum was 1 million?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You couldn't be any more correct. It was really rare to have a platinum album.
Yeah.
In 1981, so that was huge.
Right. So, and just to put this in more perspective, Hard Promises, which is Refugees on that. That was my first introduction to Tom Petty. Was on MTV.
Still.
Right, me too. Oh yeah. Don't have to live like a refugee. So in Canada, it was 100,000 sales, and that equated to a platinum.
That's because there's only 23 million people that live in Canada, or 32 million or something.
Right. New Zealand, it went
gold. There's more people in California.
Yeah, New Zealand went gold because it only sold 7,500 copies. And then United States, it sold 1 million as of August 10th, 1981. So back then it was 1.1 million in all 3 countries. It's weird those are the 3 countries they look at. And it was ranked number 72. In the 80s, it was ranked number 834, all the Billboard stuff, and overall was a 4,484 ranking. Best-selling albums of all time.
Okay. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
How many copies did Johnny Cougar Mellencamp? Maybe he was just Johnny Cougar then.
Okay, let's see.
Tell me how many copies he sold of American Fool. Just that album for now.
I will. American, which is a good fucking album.
Well, that's the one we're pitting against
right.
Tom Petty's album.
American Fool would eventually sell 10 million copies worldwide.
Yeah.
5 million in the U.S. alone. From 83 to 87, Mellencamp released 3 consecutive albums. Scarecrow and The Lonesome Jubilee, which were all certified triple platinum by the RIAA. This is the Chris and Mike Show. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Give us a follow and subscribe. That's my radio voice. Did you like that? So Tom Petty, we were just on Tom Petty's page, and he's sold 31 millions, okay? 31 million albums, okay?
Right.
Okay? Mellencamp, he has sold over 60 million albums worldwide. Double. Damn. Petty, right?
Well, he was 3 different people. He was
John Cougar. Right.
First he was Johnny Cougar.
Right.
Then he was John Cougar.
Yep.
Then he was John Cougar Mellencamp.
Right.
Then he was just
John Mellencamp. So there's 4. And Mellencamp is
4 different people.
Yeah.
Maybe the Johnny Cougar was what they tried to get him to be, and he settled at John Cougar. I can't remember how that story went. But anyway, he's been at least 3 different people.
Yeah. Yeah. Who has the most successful?
I would not have guessed in a million years that he outsold Tom Petty like that.
No, me neither. I'm going to go back to that.
I would have guessed he outsold him, but not to that level.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again to see what Tom gets. Tom Petty. Actually, it's the same. Over 60 million albums worldwide, just like Mellencamp.
Okay, that's more.
So Petty has 31.4 million in America, and John has 30 million in America. So he's edged out. I'm sorry, no, my eyes are old. 80 million records all time. He's making him one of the best selling artists of all time. So he's trumped. He beat Mellencamp by at least 20 million, give or take, because the interweb. It's the interweb. We don't know what's.
I was thinking that my musical knowledge was fading like there was no tomorrow. I'm like, there's no way that Mellencamp outsold Tom Petty.
Well, the only reason why I kind of believed it for a second there was because all the Farm Aid. I mean, Mellencamp was fucking huge in the 80s, man.
Oh, no. No fucking question.
Like, once they got past...
he was God around these parts. Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Ohio.
Once he got past his opening stuff, because when he was an opener for people, he got beer bottles thrown at him and stuff like that. He wasn't very well accepted, but once... what was his... Was American Fool his breakout?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's the one that had hand to hold on to.
Hand to hold on to, yeah.
The song that Jack and Diane.
Oh, yeah. Mm. Let's see what these albums are.
And then came out after that. That had Crumbling Walls, Pink Houses.
Down. Yeah. When the walls come tumbling down.
I'm wrong. Pink Houses is not on that album.
Down when the walls come.
Play Guitar was on that album.
Tumbling down. That was a good song too.
Yep.
Play guitar.
That is a good song.
Play guitar.
Just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Chris and I had one of the most fun times a human being could have at John Mellencamp.
We did.
We are definitely fans. So whatever shit we talk about him, we love the guy, and we had a great time. He put on a hell of a show.
He did. I remember when all the lights came up, like he had the stage guys turn the lights up and hit the crowd and he just stopped singing. I forget what song it was, but it was probably either Pink Houses or Cherry Bomb, one of those. And the entire crowd was just singing, and they were all the.
It was
the
fucking
band,
beautiful.
The band was just standing there, like I'm getting chills right now, because that's the thing.
You just brought that memory right back to the front of my mind. I'd forgotten that, but I just saw it in my head as
That's the thing. If you don't understand why musicians are musicians and what they strive for as being in a band, that's it. To stand on a stage
And have
and take the
20,000
microphone
people.
right, and to take the microphone away and just look at the audience sing your song back to you, nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Yep.
I had that happen in Sturgis. Granted, it was Simple Man, because the way my Southern style singing worked with Simple Man, it was a whole new level of that. Like, I think it was better than Shinedown's version, but it was never recorded. But we did that so well in that band that they asked us to play it the next night, and we did it. And I forget where I got into it, but I just stopped.
I believe it, because you got written up in the, what was it, New Times or Music Voice?
Yeah.
Remember they said that was the best version of Roadhouse Blues they had seen outside the doors that we played at the Electric Ballroom.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my moment of feeling that wave of energy, just like, holy shit. And you can't help, man. You're just, I mean, I'm sure I had a shitty grin across my face ear to ear, and the whole body was tingling alive, because it's just like,
you feel all that energy coming back at you.
Yeah. So that's the rush. That's the thing that musicians and bands search for. And that's why we want some type of success, so we can actually just have people sing back your songs and just and be a part of that. Like I used to do it when we would cover Rockin' in the Free World here locally with that band. I would get a lot of the crowd engaged and shit, just because I would get them engaged. So that was cool. But doing it on a stage in Sturgis, that was really cool. And unfortunately, it was before all the smartphones and shit. They were just flip phones, so none of it was documented, which sucks.
That's what still sucks about that DVD, man. I think there's a place I can take that video to see if it is salvageable, but we would have some good footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks to the fact that Chris had would you have a Super 8 camera?
A JVC little handheld camcorder. Like,
dude, that was the epitome. Like, these kids listening today, they're laughing their ass off. But you can't even imagine. That was having like this badass top of the line MacBook Pro that I have sitting in front of me, right? The fastest, most efficient machine that you can buy. It just works.
Yeah.
That was the equivalent of that back then. It's like, holy shit, you got a camcorder, dude?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? You have a camcorder?
Right.
We can record ourselves? Nobody had phone, kids.
No. There was this place called Service. I don't know if you remember this or not. There's a place in Mesa called Service Merchandise.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
%.
That's where I got that, because they had layaway program.
Yeah.
She went in and I put like
You probably
$25
told us that
down.
back then, too.
Right? I put
I
like
got it for
25
$25, dude.
25 down, and then I had to pay, I don't remember,
$10 a month for the rest of your life.
something like that, right? And then I got a bonus at Mark Center and paid it off. But that was cool. It was layaway was cool back in the day.
Absolutely.
For somebody who didn't have the funds to just rip the Band-Aid off and buy something. That we used to do that shit with our kids at Christmas, man. We'd go.
That's
to
what
Walmart
my mom and dad used to.
Yeah.
Everybody's parents did that back in the day. You went to all the stores and you put the shit away in like June or March or whenever they started, and they paid, like my mom said, $30 a month or something until you went and picked it up.
Yeah. Now the thing that sucks now is, back then there was none of the toy of the season, right? There was none of that. It was just, Johnny wants a guitar, and Sally wants a Barbie doll.
For you and I, but that did come about for my sister's generation, because remember the Cabbage Patch dolls, where the women were like ripping their hair out?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
they literally fought each other to get those things.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then people would grandmas would make them for their grandkids and shit, and the kids would cry because it wasn't the real thing. That's not a Cabbage Patch doll. It's a homemade piece of shit. That shit happened, man. I mean, it's funny now, but it was horrific for those poor little girls that wanted that doll.
Yeah. No, Nikki had she had Cabbage Patch dolls and shit, and her evil step monster, I forget what happened. She got rid of them somehow, or some kind of fucked up thing, which was disappointing. But yeah, she had some of those too.
You're right though, man. For us, like from 5 to 10, when we would have remembered like toys, there wasn't really anything that people lusted after. It was Star Wars action figures and Hot Wheels and whatever you were into. Most boys were into Hot Wheels back then. I had tons of them.
Matchbox cars. I liked Matchbox cars.
Yeah, that's it.
Matchbox cars were a little classier than
Yes,
Hot Wheels.
what I had. I had Matchbox cars.
Because they were all metal. They were all metal.
I forgot they were two different things.
Yeah, that was
The
the
Hot
Coke and
Wheels
Pepsi
people
of
are
cars.
screaming.
Right.
Fuck
Right.
you. Yeah. Matchbox sucks. Matchbox cars were pieces of shit.
Yeah. Right.
But that's
And
what
see-
I had too.
And see, with little man, he's gone through his phases. So I have about 50 or 60 monster trucks, small ones. We've got Hot Wheels, and we got. He likes Hot Wheels. Like the cool thing now with kids, they create these elaborate things to use with Hot Wheels. We just have those stupid simple tracks, right? The little figure
pieces
eights
of
or
shit plastics that never work.
right? Or the radio controlled race cars. Remember those? And
Those
you
were
have to Q-tip
badass, dude.
They were. You
Yes.
had to Q-tip
My
the
dad and I
tracks,
played
you
that
know?
shit for hours,
Right?
racing each
Oh, yeah.
other. Oh yeah.
Yep. Our first set was Cole Yarborough, and
Carl Yarborough.
Yeah, there you go.
Carl Yarborough. That's a hard
Right.
name to say.
Right, and I didn't realize what a legend he was until
Absolutely.
later in life, right? And then
Yeah.
Richard Petty, which I knew Richard Petty, but those
Sure.
were the two cars we got. So my brother
Yep.
and I would race that shit, and
And everybody wanted to be Richard Petty because nobody knew.
I like Carl's car. Carl's
He
car
did
was
have
red,
a
white,
cool
and blue,
looking
man.
car.
His was red, white, and blue. Petty's was just red and blue. I liked because of the whole patriotism stuff. Hey, don't forget, boys and girls, this is the Chris and Mike Show. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Go subscribe, right? Follow us on the Instagram and the Facebook, because we drop little segments and things and keep you up to date and dialed in on what's going on. Who's on our who is it tomorrow? Is it Jeremy Cross?
I don't know. You drastically interrupted my fucking
my
slot
bad.
car story.
I'm sorry. I was just I saw a point to break there.
No, you gotta follow through with those.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead with your slot car story, Mark. Sorry, I apologize.
I'm just fucking with
I
you.
know. You know, every now and then you got to put me in check, man. Like, fucking come on, Don, relax.
No, I was going to
Relax,
ask you if
man.
you ever had a train set.
No, never had train set.
So that's
You?
the first thing that's the first thing I wanted, but Santa had a fucking tragic accident on an icy winter night trying to bring it in the house. In that old steel, fell on the steps and broke my fucking train set and broke his heart. And I didn't know it as a kid, but you
Right.
know, then there's
Right.
a letter from Santa. Santa had an accident, broke your train
Oh,
set.
really?
So that's how we ended up getting into slot cars later on, was like that was the next evolution, you know?
Oh, gotcha.
I think
'Cause
that
he-
came
yeah.
about right about the time that I couldn't decide what I wanted, or maybe the slot cars got popular after the train set got broken. I ended
Right.
up with a slot car track that was badass. So
Okay.
he set it up on a nice piece of plywood, because I think he wanted to play with it just as much as I did. So
Oh, right on.
I don't know if I ever ended up having a real train set or not. I don't think so.
Well, I know where they keep a train that we could just go take.
Like
You
a
know.
real train?
Oh yeah, just hop in, keys are in the ignition, and just have at it. You know.
Well, we're going to have to buy a digital recorder because that show will have to go on the road. This is episode 215 as we hijack a train.
Right. Hijacking a train. Hijacking a train. So
What were you asking me? Who's on? Who's coming up?
Yeah,
so
I got it. I pulled it up. It's Jeremy Cross.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'll drop a little snippet. Actually, we could drop a little snippet after today's show and make that a thing, and we can what we need. This is a little behind the scenes conversation for you boys and girls on Chris and Mike Show.
Yes, this is the way a podcast is put together, ladies and gentlemen.
We need to have, like, on my YouTube channel, when you go to my YouTube channel for my
Our
business, the
YouTube
real estate
channel?
guy. No, mine, my real estate guy one.
Now I'm fucking with you.
No.
God
I get
dang
it.
I didn't even
Yeah.
have a good chance. All right.
You tried, though.
Continue.
That was cool. And the reason why he said that is because whenever he references something, I always say it's ours. Because he'll be like, your YouTube channel. Well, my YouTube channel is Chris Dunham, the real estate guy. At Chris Dunham. Just at Chris Dunham. So when you go to that one,
Okay.
there's a video that automatically pops up. It's the trailer. We need a trailer. And it's hard for us to have a trailer because you're there and I'm here. But I think after today's show, or even during the show, we make our own little trailer and then we make it a short. And then I can put it up on the main page, so when people come to the YouTube channel right away, they're going to see something automatically play.
That's a brilliant idea. I like
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
it. Chris Dunham for the win.
Chris Dunham here. Mike Michael's there. Mike Michael's there. So I went to lunch today with a dude named Charlie. I'm in the Rotary Club in Mesa, which is not about cars. It's about volunteerism and giving back.
Was his last name Brown?
Dude, absolutely. His last name is Brown. And I brought up the fact that when I was a kid, I grew up with neighbors that their kids' names were Buster and Charlie Brown.
Is that a true story?
It's a true fucking story. His name is Charlie Brown, right?
You have to quantify these
but
things, ladies and gentlemen, when you're talking to a musician.
Right. So my whole
that a true
concept with joining the Rotary Club is I'm going to go to lunch with every single member. There's like 80 of us. Because how do you learn?
80 members of your Rotary Club?
About that, yeah. We're
I
one
bet
of the
there's
most
only
successful.
10 in our town.
Okay.
Maybe 8. I don't know. Small.
Yeah, but the best way to learn about somebody is take them to lunch, because you can't, at Rotary meetings, you got 15 minutes to kind of come in, get your lunch, sit down, and then you can change where you sit every day. But on a whole, it's hard to get to know everybody. So I'm like, I'm going to take everybody to lunch. It's going to take me a while, right? Once a week. It's take me probably almost 2 years to do this.
Got nothing but time. That's what I always say.
Right. So Charlie, he owns a property management business, and it's doors, it's houses. Well, way back 40 years ago when he first started this, he was actually kind of thrown into managing a 60-door apartment complex near ASU.
Okay.
This is an interesting story, which is why I'm going to share it. So he leaves that about 8 months into it, like, this is way too chaotic. And then the people call him up, hey, we're dumping this thing. We're getting out. You want it? And he's like, okay. He thought about it. Why not? I'll take it. So they folded that apartment complex, and then so he started out with, maybe five doors. And a door means a house. At his peak, 600 doors before
Holy
COVID hit,
shit.
right? 600 doors. One of the adventures he had was a realtor connected with an investment company in California that bought 400 houses in 2 years. So anybody in California listening to this that they need a realtor to help them buy 400 houses in 2 years, I'm your guy.
100%.
400 houses in 2 years, man.
Crazy.
Insanity. So with that being said, I was like, engaging conversation. Further down the path of the conversation with him, he's been married 50 years. He's got 8 kids. He's got 21 grandkids.
Wow.
The boys that he raised are all individually successful, which he couldn't take credit for. I was like, well, you raised them, Charlie.
Damn right he did.
And it's kind of cool happenstance luck type thing. Like, one of his sons had a construction background. This guy's like, hey, you want to help me with this store, with these storage solution, with these storage properties? And he's like, sure, why not? At the end of the day, he made $10 million from that, while the other guy made 60. But he made $10 million right? Because he just happenstance, lucky, right place, right time. And the stories go on and on with this guy. He went on
I love people like that, man.
Yeah. He went on a bicycle tour in Europe for 8 days, where he and a couple of his friends, and they were riding their bikes and basically towing what they slept in, right? They've been cruising on cruise ships off and on for 20 years. They've taken their family. I mean, they just kept spewing out. Because when I'm sitting with lunch with somebody I don't know, kind of like when we had Nate on the show, I'm just plugging away. I'm just asking questions. I'm learning. I'm taking notes.
Sure, absolutely.
I find out legit. You were here at the time, 1998. Jane Hull was running for governor, right?
Oh yeah.
He opposed Jane Hull.
Really?
Yeah, he only had $8,000 in budget. He got 25,000 votes. He lost. He knew he was going to lose, but he wanted to do it just to see if he could do it.
And that's cool. They got 25,000 votes.
You're right. Just like I drove her all around the state.
I think if you
kids.
got the money, $8,000 is that's a drop in the bucket to say, hey, yeah, I got 25,000 votes for governor.
Right. That's what he said. He's like, I should have won if it was sheer dollar per vote. I won. Right on. So yeah, Charlie, really cool
Dude,
guy.
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. We're going to have Mark on. Mark from the Rotary Club. He's the CEO for United Way, former Baptist minister. And he actually is one of the only people in the world that can say he actually got inside Melissa Etheridge.
Another true story?
Yeah, because he dated Melissa Etheridge before Melissa Etheridge went to
Became
the
a
other
lesbian?
team. Went to the other team.
Became a lesbian? You can say it. We're in 2025.
Well, no, I like, it's a Seinfeld thing, you know?
Yes.
You go to the other team. Do you have a shortstop on your team? Yeah, I do. I have a shortstop on my team. I'm the shortstop. I'm not going up, you know what I mean? So that's the
And
funny
we
bit of it.
very rarely get them back once they've gone to the
Right? And she never went back to playing for the other
I
side.
love when Elaine describes how we have the equipment 24.
Right.
How can I compete? when you have the equipment 24 hours a day. I only have the access to the equipment at best, what, 2-3 hours a week?
Right, says the woman with a whole entire closet full of today's sponge. Okay, she had more than just 2-3 hours a week.
That was a great episode,
right?
too.
That was a great episode.
Holy shit. I love talking Seinfeld, dude.
Some of the stuff that they got away with would never fly today.
No.
It's just like with The Office would never fly today.
Well, the Puerto Rican Day, I think you can watch it on Netflix now, but that was pulled from regular TV forever. That Puerto Rican Day parade episode.
Oh, I didn't know that. What episode's that?
See, very few people remember it because it only aired live, and then it might have aired in reruns for a short time, but then obviously the Puerto Rican community got mad.
Season 9, episode 20. So I'm gonna have to. Oh! That was where those guys, those like very. You talking to me? You must be talking to me because there's nobody else here.
No,
those guys.
No,
not the gay guys.
That's actually during the Soup Nazi. I think they show up the first time because remember Kramer's supposed to guard the armoire.
Yes.
And they just take it from him.
Oh yeah.
That's when he does what. And then they're in the AIDS walk episode.
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right.
Why you not wear the ribbon?
Yeah.
Do you not want to wear the ribbon?
Hey, hold on. He doesn't want to wear the ribbon. What? Why don't you wear the ribbon? I'm going to kick your ass, man. You're not no political refugee from Cuba. This is America, man. You wear the ribbon, okay? So it's season 9, episode 20, boys and girls. Season 9, episode 20, because I'm going to watch that tonight, and I'm going to
do yourself a favor and watch it. Yes, get back to me.
It's the Puerto Rico.
Tell me how offended you were.
So this is what it says. This is the bio to it, or the shit, that fucking came on. Whew. That was the whole episode just came on YouTube. I didn't do that. So, okay, the YouTube version of this, 208,000 views. So the premise is, well, that's not the premise of it. Come on. What? I just saw the premise of it somewhere. I was going to read the premise, man. Damn it, Jim. Kramer takes extremes measures to use a bathroom to Puerto Rican Day. That's all it says.
Oh, that's where he can't find a bathroom.
Oh, I remember that one then. Why do they call it Puerto Rican Day, though?
Because that's the parade that's going on, if I remember right.
Oh, okay.
It's a Puerto Rican Day parade.
Is this when he has that kidney stone, he can't pass it?
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Okay. That is a funny episode. You can tell me if you've heard this or not, too. I've heard that Kramer has never watched himself. Like Michael Richards, the actor, has never watched himself. I believe it because he's
kind of an eccentric guy, but I've never heard that, but I'm sure...
No. I just heard it recently.
Very well may be true.
The only reason I heard it recently is there's all that hubbub back with, you thumbed up that, with
that's
Jerry trying to get
up.
Right. Jerry's trying to get him back in the mix of things, because of all the chaos that, when he dropped the N-word at the comedy show.
Yes.
Which,
Rogan's talked about that ad nauseum.
And it's probably taken out of context, but
a little bit.
He
defends him a little bit, but then, he always is careful to say you have to own your actions, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of us go out every night and don't do shit like that, and we act like adults. And
right. Yep. And in case you're wondering, boys and girls, Sea Moss Gummies. Yes, they are a proud sponsor of the Chris and Mike Show. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Review us and share us and like us and subscribe. Sea Moss Gummies. Do your body good.
What do they do to your body to make them good?
I don't remember.
You're a hell of a salesman, Dunham. We're trying to sell some shit here.
They were just sitting next to my desk.
They're delicious.
I'm like, oh, yeah. I think it has to do with gut health.
Okay.
Because anything I do is has a nutritional supplement, kind of like the HempWorks, my Daily Choice HempWorks. Yeah. So, wow, but now I got gum in my mouth. Sorry.
Remind me to tell you a good gummy story while we're not on the air.
Okay.
I'll tell that story on the air later, but it's a good one.
Right on. That's tasty. I'm sorry I'm gummy eating on a show. So unprofessional.
Nobody accused us being professional. This is supposed to be an organic conversation. That's why people love us, buddy.
This will be its own short. Chris eating a gummy. You'll get like 14,000 views because I'll do a bunch of hashtags related to gummies, and then it'll just go nuts. It'll just go nuts. So, because we're real and raw, this is what we're going to do here. We're going to shoot our thing that we need, okay? Because we're going to shoot it. So we're going to plan it out. So basically, we want people come to our YouTube page. We want to be like, hey, this is Chris and Mike show. I'm Chris, and then you're going to say, I'm Mike, and hey, we're here to talk about anything that's relevant to us and keeping it real, raw, and
relevant.
Join us here weekly, Tuesdays and Fridays, and new shows drop on Wednesdays and Sundays. So I'll say join us here weekly on Tuesdays and Fridays, and then you say new shows drops on Wednesdays and Sundays.
All right.
All right, and I'll say you can find us on Instagram, and you say, and Facebook, and I'll say, and YouTube. And you say, subscribe on all platforms, and I say, oh, yes, give us a follow. It's the Chris and Mike Show, soon to come, thechrisandmikeshow.com. Oh, and then maybe add Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all those platforms we're on, because I don't know all those things we're on. Okay? So we're going to wait till the clock.
We're done.
Yeah, we're going to wait till the clock gets to 47, so then we can keep them in.
No, I'm saying we'll wait till after we're done, and we'll make it a separate thing.
Oh.
Because I don't want to cut it out of here.
Oh, I gotcha. Don't want to cut what out of here. Oh, we're going to do this when we're done.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, so that was...
Then it'll be its own thing that we can put anywhere we want.
Then it will be its own thing. See how smart Mike is? I'm just...
No, I'm the one that has to edit it, so I'm thinking it's not smart. It's just experience.
Gotcha. So I get this is funny. So I get these freaking spam. Like when real estate market is real estate market, right? And there's so many people, oh, the market sucks. It doesn't suck. You all are ignorant. So shut up. Listen to a professional because it's not bad. We only have 17,000 houses for sale in all of Maricopa and Pinell County.
17,000?
That's it. That's it. So it's thank you. See, because if you type
Maricopa County is the largest county in the United States, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, Maricopa and Pinell County, I said, so both. Okay. But there's this thing
but
going around.
But just alone, Maricopa is the largest square mileage county in the United States.
Right. So there's this thing going around that people think, oh, our supply is outweighing our demand. It's not true, man. It's irritating, and I've actually done a video based on this. I'm going to do it right now just because we're sitting here.
Well, actually, right here in our town, my mom's been saying for a month, there's no houses for sale here either.
Well, see, there are houses for sale, but it's what they're trying to spin, the bullshit they're trying to spin.
No, I mean like the inventory super. Oh. It's not like there's not one house for sale, but normally you see like a house on every other street that's got a for sale sign.
Right.
You might see 5 for sale signs in the whole town now.
Gotcha. Okay, wow. So, Maricopa County alone, okay? Right now, this is live information, boys and girls. There's 13,204 properties for sale. Okay? And that's houses. I'm sorry, not properties, houses. Houses. Single-family homes. There's 13,204. If I take the homes
based on the fact that there's millions of people that live there.
Right. So, taking away single-family home, minimum 3-bed, 2-bath, which means it opens it up to everything. And I mean everything. Manufactured, mobile, condo, townhouse, patio home, and homes, okay? It's 20,311. So 20,311, okay? So people are freaking out because they say our inventory outweighs, our supply outweighs our demand. Not true, because again, going back to Phoenix, there's only Maricopa County, there's only 13,203 houses for sale in Maricopa County.
That's crazy.
That is a decline in inventory since January 2025 this year. We started with about 6 months inventory in January, and we've consistently gone down to now we're about 3.6 months. 3 months, 3 weeks, whatever it says, 3.61 of inventory. But if you break that down to just Maricopa County, that's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. Which is what I'm trying to convey to people. This is not a crashing market. There's nothing it's a strong market. We have houses available, not like lots and lots, but we still do. So Phoenix, okay, just drop it down to Phoenix. There's 2,601 houses for sale in Phoenix that are at least 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Wow.
Okay. Now here's where it gets
Still
clever.
not a lot.
No. So we do 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths in Phoenix. It drops it to $1,442.
Wow.
Okay. Now watch this shit. I'm gonna put a 2-car garage on that. 2-car garage to park your stuff. $1,159. Okay. We're gonna say at least 1,400 square feet because that's a good range of square footage. 1,154. We're gonna say, what do you want to say? What else do you want to say? What else do you want to put in here? Let's see. We'll make it single family. It's single family. But we'll make it detached, so you're not attached to anybody. That drops it down to 1,144. Interior levels. We're gonna say 1-level home, single level ranch style.
Which is what I got.
657. Okay.
How about if you want a pool?
A pool, swimming pool. Where's my pool features?
Because most people want a pool.
I want a pool. You ready for this one?
Yes.
A pool. It's thinking, it's spinning, it's saying, what am I doing? I want
Looking
a pool.
for Mike for a pool for when the podcast takes off.
Come on, pool.
He wants a pool.
It's still thinking. It's like it's going through the database. Oh, there it is. I just got to hit private. Okay, gotcha. So 339 houses with a pool in all of Phoenix.
Shit.
Okay, so 4 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, single family detached with a 2-car garage, single level, at least 1,400 square feet. We have 339 houses for sale in all of Phoenix, Arizona.
That puts it into perspective. Now, how bad does your supply outweigh your demand?
Exactly.
Because most people raising a family like you did with 2 kids, 2 people want 4 bedrooms.
4 bedrooms, right.
Right? They want the 2-car garage. They
Yep.
may or may not want a pool, so they may have 1,000 homes to choose from. Where the people that want a pool who are moving from where I live out there that want to experience that, now they're down to 300. That's not a lot.
No, get this shit. You ready for this? Are you sitting down? Are you sitting down?
I am. It looks like I'm standing up, but I'm really sitting down.
You're sitting down. So Glendale, where Kevin lived, where you lived, where the band got his, where we rehearsed quite a bit. Same criteria. Single family, detached, 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2-car garage, single level, 1,400 square feet minimum with a swimming pool. Just guess in Glendale how many houses for sale. Just guess.
All of Glendale, let's see. I'm going with 57.
Not bad. 82.
Wow.
82.
Damn, I should have went with 100. I'd have been
Dude,
closer.
but that's good though. So let's do Mesa, Arizona, shall we? Because Mesa,
I also
Arizona,
lived there.
Right,
I was
Mesa-
a homeowner there.
Mesa, Arizona is the largest East Valley community in the East Valley. 154. All criteria remains the same. Okay?
Wow.
So we're going to do Chandler, Arizona.
Not Chandler Bing.
101. You got to have that 101. 101.
That one person's like, buy my house.
Yep. Gilbert, Arizona. 117. So that's what I'm saying. People think that, the market's crashing. There's too much blah, blah, blah. It's because ignorance is bliss, man. You don't look at the real results. Okay. Apache Junction. Okay. Apache Junction has 0 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes with 1,400 square feet, 2-car garage and a swimming pool. None.
How big is Apache Junction?
I don't know, but it's just the point. There's none. None.
That's where the band got its start. We practiced out there.
Yeah. So Gold Canyon, 0. Nothing. Nada. Zilch.
Let me tell you, dude, that was a long drive from fucking Metro Center to Apache Junction for band practice every day.
I don't doubt that. Fountain Hills. Okay. Fountain Hills, 36. 36 homes in Fountain Hills. That's the thing that irritates me when people talk about this shit. Like you're not looking at it the way you should look at it. You're looking at the total amount of inventory by just doing a blanket search that's active, but you can't because our MLS system now picks up Sedona and Prescott Valley and Payson and Show Low and all those northern cities that picks up some southern border towns as well, like Nogales and Kingman. It's such a massive draw that our MLS pulls from. So anybody that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, they're going to do this. And I'll start it back over. Just a quick search blanket. Just nothing checked in my box but active properties. Okay. And again, this picking up all kinds of stuff. 26,385 with nothing tagged down, nothing taken away.
So that could easily lead somebody to falsely think that, yeah, you do have way too much inventory.
Right. So, but if you go to Tempe, without anything but putting Tempe down, 409 total properties for sale. Now, if you take that to single-family homes, that drops it to 230, almost in half.
And Tempe's a big town too.
Tempe's a big town as far as multi-density, lots of condos, complexes, and we're not talking apartments and shit either. We're talking livable real estate stuff. But single-family detached homes, there's 225. We punched in 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. That takes us down to 205. Now, if we punch in 4 bedrooms, 114. So we started with 409 properties for sale in Tempe, narrowed it all the way down. There's 114 single-family homes for sale.
4 bedrooms,
Four bedrooms,
what a normal family would, who's going to have 2 or 3 kids.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yep. And then do they add the 1,400 square foot single level? You're talking 73 houses.
It goes back to everything that I say in life, Chris Dunham. You have to put things in perspective.
You have to,
right?
And you
can't just make a blanket statement. You can if you're being funny, but if we're trying to be truthful and honest, and you know, in your case, you have to be, because that's your livelihood. So when people say shit like that, it gives a false sense of, oh, well, it's not the time to buy, and that's my frustration, because I get it, dude.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Perspective is everything.
Because the idiots in the media, and even some realtors, because I've seen some realtors spinning this stuff, and I've commented on them, I've ripped them apart, because they're doing a disservice to the industry, and they're creating.
That's a great way to put it.
They're creating the whole sky is falling mentality. It's not falling. It's just not. When I started in this business 25 years ago, the average number of properties for sale, and again, back then it was just Maricopa, Pinell County. They weren't pulling on the outskirts, was 33,000 at any given time for my first 2.5 years in real estate. So I could take.
And what year was that, to put it in perspective for people?
99.
Okay.
99. And you know that, because when we went and looked at houses for you, we went back to houses. We could go look at a house. We could go look at 5 houses on a Saturday, go back and look at 5 different houses the following Saturday, and then the following week go look at 6, 7 more. And then we figured out which one we like.
Oh, yeah. I think you literally told us, don't worry, we're not going to run out of houses to look at.
Right.
Like, don't panic, you know.
Exactly.
You don't have to buy the first thing that you see. We can do this for a day, a week, a month, whatever you guys want to do. Yeah.
Right. So our market right now is to me, it's a buyer's market, because, prime example, first-time buyers a couple weeks ago, we went out and looked at 12 houses. These really cool couple. They never bought a house before. He works for Progressive. He's like a claims adjuster, like the big rigs and stuff. Really cool people. She sent me a spreadsheet, which I thought was fantastic, of all their wants and needs, Excel spreadsheet. And it was legit.
That's awesome.
And she was like, oh, you know, thank you. Sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. This helps me help you.
Right.
The more information you can tell me, because I listen, the better results I'm going to provide for you, because I can check all your boxes. There's certain things I couldn't search for. Like, I have somebody today that wanted me to search, and one of her criteria was a backyard kitchen. I'm like, there's no way for me to search for that. I said, if it just happens the listing has a backyard kitchen, you know, an outdoor kitchen out back.
Kind of like we had, or they wanted something more elaborate than that?
I don't know, because I didn't go down the rabbit hole with her.
We had the barbecue and the wet bar and the refrigerator, and that was a nice setup.
That to me is an outdoor kitchen.
Yeah, okay. I agree with you. Yeah. It was badass. I loved it.
So once I did this person's search, and she wanted Phoenix, until she told me what city she wanted, and it was 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 3-car garage, a flat yard, you know, as opposed to, you know, hilly or whatever.
Sure.
Swimming pool, modern, updated, and the price range was 900 to 1.2. So I just left the small number open and did 1.2. The initial search, without telling me what city she wanted, was 1,500. When she told me Phoenix, there was like 52.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
But that's what I'm saying, though. People think, oh, because there's, you know, when you do the blanket search, there's 26,000 properties for sale. Oh, supply's outweighing demand. Shut the front door. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so
for the people that are listening that are following along, let's take the rabbit hole one step deeper and put it really into perspective. Okay, so now this lady has, 52 properties to choose from. How many does she really have to choose from? Because she's not going to like probably 60 to 80% of what she looks at, right?
Correct.
Nope.
Right.
So now she's down to maybe 10, 15 at best.
So when I went in and I looked at them all, knowing what she wants,
Right.
So I cycled through all 52 houses and tried to find the ones, because some were, small backyard because she wants room for activities. So I went through and I found 15 out of 52, and I sent them to her, which we were having the conversation before we show.
What was my guess? 10 to
right,
15.
Exactly. So
fucking genius.
you are a genius. So now I'm just waiting for her to cycle through those 15 and tell me which ones she likes. So then I can take, okay, she likes these 5. So I look at those 5 in more detail and kind of start going through pictures and reading the description, understanding, okay, this is a square footage. All these have this kind of square foot. Okay, note, make that. So update the square footage search. And, she doesn't like the 2-story. She only likes the single. All those little nuances that she'll do once she sends me back the ones she likes. I research what she tells me she likes. So
that's why I totally understand your frustration,
right,
dude, because we just whittled everything down, just like I've described 100 times on this podcast. I like to break things down to their nub, right?
Yes.
How does this fucking thing work? Mm-hmm. That's what everybody has to do with every subject in their life.
Right.
That's why conversations with people who are not deep thinkers, I don't want to call them idiots or morons. They're happy with their life. I stopped doing that, right?
Right.
So the reason that conversations with people who aren't deep thinkers are exhausting is what you just described, because people make a blanket statement. The supply of houses in inventory, the supply of houses in Arizona far outweighs the inventory that no, we're never going to have enough houses for all the buyers that we have.
And see, the other thing that they're forgetting about is they're building this massive microchip plant up by Anthem. Like, this thing's going to be its own little entity,
I heard
its own
about
little
that.
right. So its own little world. There's not enough houses right now just to house those people.
Right.
And they're going to build 5 different residential communities just in that area alone. So when people say, "Oh, this, that," I'm like, "What, are you kidding me?"
That's why when people make blanket statements like that, it's exhausting for me, because my brain starts working. It's like, do you realize what you just said? You just made a generalized statement about a subject that, I know you probably know nothing about.
Right.
Somebody parroted that headline that you just said from whatever news source that they saw it from, and then the snowball effect. Okay, now the supply far outweighs the demand.
Mm-hmm.
That just becomes the new, I hate that fucking term, that becomes the new norm,
Yeah.
Until it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what frustrates me, is that you get, like, there was a podcast with a reporter from New York who was commenting on the real estate industry, and the data she was dropping was 6 months old. She was so ignorant that when the interviewer asked her, well, what does she sell her home for and what commission did she pay, she didn't have an answer because she said she didn't remember. Fuck you. Okay? Everybody knows what commissions they've paid, because guess what? It's on a settlement statement. It tells you exactly everything's broken down money-wise. The realtor has to be up front. I've always been up front, but now they have to be up front of how they're getting paid, what they're getting paid, right? And then what your house sold for, because it's your house. So when this woman said she had no idea what her house sold for and what she paid, just flat out lie.
Bullshit.
Like, right. But she was spinning that.
Even I know that's bullshit.
Right. And all her information was 6-7 months old, talking about how realtors were going to still be able to tell the other realtors that they're offering Cobrooks by putting superimposing images of, like, the 3 amigos on the TV in the living room picture, and putting 3 cookies, 3 smiley faces on a sign writer, and then taking a picture of the kitchen counter with 3 cookies on a plate. Like, give me a break. Just be honest and be upfront, and we never would have had this problem. And by the way, the dude that filed the class action lawsuit owns a discount brokerage now in the Midwest that he'll sell your house for $1,000.
Imagine that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It's stupid, man. It's just so stupid. Nobody. When you go to a doctor, you're going to negotiate the fee to see the doctor.
I think you should be able to, but no.
I agree.
In the current state, no, you cannot do that.
Right. You're going to go, a plumber comes to your house and has to replace your water heater because it blew up. Are you going to be able to negotiate the price with them?
You ain't fucking with that guy.
No. But that's
those days are never changing, because who wants to change shitty toilets, right?
Mm-hmm. But everybody thinks that what I do for a living, and those that do it as well, that everything's negotiable. Like, I don't get a paycheck. Mike gets a paycheck. I don't get a paycheck. I get paid to negotiate. So I don't get paid to negotiate until I have you under contract and I've negotiated those terms and conditions. And then guess what? I still don't get a paycheck because unless it closes, all my work was for naught.
Yeah.
People forget that. People forget
And
how
those suck for you,
right?
for sure.
So yeah, that's it. I'm off my soapbox. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
Squirrel moment. Squirrel.
That's also a part of this show, brother. This
Yeah.
is your life and my life, and it sounds like we're going to get fewer and fewer moments to just talk to each other unless we do it on the phone again. So this is a good problem to have. I am not bitching at all. That was my hope. That was that we were going to get to talk to interesting people. But no, man.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, what Mike's alluding to is we have guests booked basically every Tuesday and Friday in June. So it's going to be a fun little, month of learning different things from different people.
Absolutely.
We do have a couple people coming back on the show, which is going to be fun. Nate wants to debate. Nate wants to have a debate with Peter Ho. He wants to, he's like, let's spark up some controversy, man.
I totally think Peter would be down for that.
I was like, right on. Well, because Nate's all about health and wellness, and so is Peter. And I know Nate, I don't know how much Nate is tied to the products that he uses, but we know Peter's tied to his products he uses. Sure. So we could totally have a product debate and see which one's.
It's going to be awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It'll be fun for sure.
Both great personalities and both very proficient at what they do. So, I'm looking forward to Nate kind of picking his brain on a level that I couldn't as far as how do these things work. Or, you and I only know so much about that stuff. So, it's cool when somebody else is what I like to call a subject matter expert, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking guitars and music.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I are subject matter experts.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we are. All right, well, let's stick a fork in this one.
Yeah, because I think I might lose my internet, dude.
Okay. And
there's a storm coming in.
Okay, boys and girls, this is the Chris and Mike Show. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. When you go to YouTube, subscribe, right?
Yes.
Subscribe. And listen to the, because then when you subscribe to YouTube, let me tell you what happens. Every time a short populates, you're going to get to see that short. It's going to get emailed to you. You're going to be notified, hey, the Chris and Mike Show have dropped a short. So that will kind of give you an idea of what the show's about and what show was about and things like that. And you can, venture down the rabbit hole like that. So Instagram, just give us a follow. Mike drops some stuff on Instagram every time we have a show, which kind of tells you what's coming on. Facebook, kind of the same thing. We put stuff on there and drive traffic to the YouTube channel until we get the chrisandmikeshow.com built. But all that helps us grow organically. We're not like most podcasts. We're not spending thousands of dollars to get people to come look at us, right?
No.
Because it means more when your neighbor Joe says, holy shit, that's Mike and Chris. I like that.
Yes.
Because it's real people. And we're in 17 countries now?
18.
18 countries now. And last check, we were just past 61,000 total views on YouTube, which
is pretty crazy for a little over a year and no advertising.
No. I did a couple little electronic blip boards, but those weren't anything that was really going to.
Not like people that I see do it every week.
Yeah, there's some insanity that people drop. But when you grow stuff organically, it means more because then you have real followers that are watching you grow and follow your journey. Which
I'll give you a quick example.
Yes,
and everybody
please.
else out there.
Okay.
You and I both follow, so it's pertaining to you because probably nobody else follows it. But it gives you a good numbers example. Mm-hmm. So that Podcasters for Facebook has, I think, 71,000 people in the community now.
Mm-hmm.
How much it worked out for you and I because we used it to our advantage.
Right.
But how much real interaction and content is going on out of 71,000 people? Right.
Not a lot. Because you can't. It's impossible.
My point is, if somebody's spending hundreds of dollars every week to just drive traffic to their Facebook page or garner YouTube views, those people are what the industry calls like flyby.
Yeah.
They're not sticking around.
They're one-hit wonders.
Your 55 people that we have on YouTube now, which, hopefully becomes 55,000 or 5 million.
Right.
But those people are going to be there to the bitter end. They wanted to be a member of this show, and we love you for being here. Same thing with our Spotify followers, Apple.
Yep.
There's people that like different platforms, and they're loyal to it. So all Chris is asking you to do is if you hit that subscribe button, you'll know every time we release something to your favorite platform.
Exactly. That's it.
Thank you.
Don't let the bad days win.
Yes.
Somebody loves you. You need to be here tomorrow when you wake up. If you're having a bad day, just, take a deep breath, relax, inhale, meditate, chill out. You'll be fine tomorrow because tomorrow is always a better day.
Yeah, we've both lost somebody to suicide, so
We have. Yep.
you don't ever get a chance to. You don't ever get a chance to say, "Hey, don't do that." So here's our chance to say, "Don't do that" to somebody that might be thinking about it now. So that means something to us.
Exactly. For the Chris and Mike Show, I'm Chris. He's Mike. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Doing it.